So, hey Libra, my name is Chris, and this is the long-awaited, beautiful spring reading. If you are in the Northern Hemisphere, of course. If you're in the Southern Hemisphere, guess what? It's the autumn or fall reading, whatever you say. And I'm not doing the Celtic cross. I just did a fantastic breath work. By the way, do breath work whenever you can. 1 in, 2 out. 5 seconds in, 10 seconds out, 3 seconds in, 6 seconds out, something like that. The out breath should be twice as long as the in breath. Spring it is, winter is over. There it is. That's the Ten of Swords, but we're not scared about the Ten of Swords, even if it looks like awful. Something is just over. Something is just so dead, right? And you're totally done with it. And there's fortune after difficulty, right? 2 tens, you got the Ten of Swords, complete finito, right? But it's a good ending. 2026 is the ending of a pretty much 9-10 year circle, right? Think about the last 10 years. I guess you learned a lot. I guess they were pretty challenging, right? It's over, right? It's over, right? Most likely, if you're following this channel, you didn't sell your soul to the darkness, right? So there were difficult years for decent people last few years, and last 9 years actually. Completion, 2026. And in spring, by the way, spring is actually the mythical, how do you say this? It's actually the spiritual new beginning of the year, right? So not, hey, come on, there's the victory march. Are you kidding me? Okay. Just that alone, these 3 cards, complete finito, the old chapter completely over, fortune after difficult, that's a good thing, right? A good home, good happy home. As I said, fortune after difficulty, there's your difficulty, Ten of Swords, that's for sure. Old chapter over, victory march, right? You're riding into a new beginning. Massive energy with the Chariot, supportive energy. There's the Fool card, there's your new beginning, right? And there is the 9 of Pentacles, you bringing in some sort of harvest. So in these last pretty dark years of, whether it's 9 years, whether it's 10 years for you, look at the last few years. Look at 2025. 2026 is not going to be another 2025. So much better. This is over, and that's a good riddance. That's a chapter that was just agonizing. You transformed yourself successfully. 10 of Pentacles. Enjoy that. Celebrate that. Divine humble pride. Don't brag about it, but just be, there's a relief here. Super supportive energy. And low-hanging fruits, that's the message here as well. So there's a new beginning, total support from the universe with the Chariot. You're riding into this new chapter, so to speak. And things are much easier. There's less resistance here. The ripes are grape. That's what I always say, the ripes are grape. The grapes are ripe, of course. So you're standing in your lush garden. All you have to do is pick these grapes, right? Then you're getting your harvest. So nothing much to invest, but a lot to gain here. There's the 5 of, okay, let's do this. The 5 of Pentacles, the Knight of Wands, and the 3 of Pentacles. And the center is, that's kind of the dark night of the soul energy here. You kind of had support to this darker chapter of your life, to the last few years, even though it doesn't feel like it, or it didn't always feel like it. So the people who were there for you, there it is. There's the Empress smack in the center. Bottom of the deck, 6 of Cups, remembering joy. That's such a beautiful energy. After narcissistic abuse, that's what's underneath there. You're coming from a pretty difficult energy. So there is, we all, if you're a decent human being, right? The last few years were very challenging, mostly 2025, right? So there was narcissistic abuse because it was just widespread, right? There was a time when you couldn't do much. There is an old chapter where you were kind of the psychopaths and narcissists. They had their great time. They're going to pay for it dearly because karma, right? But we're not taking revenge. We're not going into anger or even hatred. We're not fighting the old system. We're not fighting the old broken narrative. We're not trying to fix it in that way. We get a better story. You got a better thing to do with your life. Not resentment, pain, not fear, not anger, not frustration. These are lower frequencies of your consciousness. The old system is always trying to keep you entangled, basically, in these lower frequencies. Fear, guilt, shame, angst, worry, sorrow, scarcity mindset, right? And this is over. Just don't go there, right? You had support here in the foundation. There's the Five of Pentacles, the Three of Pentacles, the Knight of Wands. You kind of followed your passion. You followed through it. You were true to yourself. That's how you got through it. And now it's time for, evening something out. It's time for the universe to give something back to you because you did your homework, right? Even if nobody was seeing it, you did your thing, you upheld your principles. There's a lot of integrity here. Through that night of the soul energy, the universe is giving you something back, but you always also have to allow yourself to receive. Now it's the time to concentrate on your, from the Five of Pentacles here, 2 times the Five of Pentacles in the foundation. So you're coming from a very difficult time. Let's just say this. But this is over. And there's abundance, You kind of showing up as the wounded warrior, right? So it took a turn on you. But now is the time not to look back in anger into the past, not to take the bait of the old system. The old system wants you to stay. The old system wants you to get some energy from you. Please entertain my ideas, right? Please play with me. Please, engage with me. That's what the old system wants to tell you. And what I'm telling you is that do not fight the old system, because by fighting the old system, you're giving it energy. So instead, focus all of your energy on what you want to create. There are low-hanging fruits here. You can harvest something. You can get a job done. You can get something out of it. There's the Nine of Pentacles. So there is something coming in if you put in the work. Straightforward, nothing very complicated, Just do the thing and you get your reward. Focus all of your attention on what you want to create. There's a talent, there's a happy, stable home. 10 of Cups energy, fortune after difficult is here. You are in your abundance. Why? Because you're not focusing on the old chapter. You're not focusing on your losses or insecurities or fears, guilt, shame, You transcended and integrated all that, and now you're using all of that, even in your shadow aspect, right, to create what you want. And here you are showing up in your abundance as the Empress. And the secret to it all, right, to abundance that is here, to your creation, you got everything you need to create. The Page of Pentacles, the universe on your side, the Chariot here, supportive energy. Since you're coming from a darker time, the Two of Pentacles is a good combination because now is the upswing, right? Spring 2026 is definitively where you remember joy. Bottom of the clarifier deck, the smaller deck, right? You get this combination of the Five of Cups and the Six of Cups. So literally moving up from the 5, which is kind of regret and loss, and you're looking back into the past and you're sorry for yourself, and look at all that was broken, right? And then you're moving on from the 5 of Cups to the 6 of Cups, where you seize the moment, basically, where you come back to yourself and have some joy in what it is that you're doing. And that's the success here, that's the abundance here. Sacred Earth, we've seen that again and again in my last readings. That's just reminding you to get in contact with nature, right? There are low-hanging fruits. Do the work and you get something out of it. That's the first message. Focus all of your attention on what you want to create. There's a passionate aspect here with the Wands energy. 6 of Wands, Page of Wands. There is support, even if you're not seeing it. There was support when you were walking through the dark night of the soul, which is definitively over in spring 2026. That's for sure. Life is speeding up. You're gaining momentum. Chariot, Antelope Spirit, right? Everything seems pretty good. Everything seems really, really beautiful. Just don't go back into resentment and pain. Don't use your energy to fight the old system, but also don't use it to stay too long into this energy of mourning what you have lost, right? You arrived at yourself. That's the most important thing. With the Empress here smack in the middle, that's a beautiful, beautiful card of abundance, of self-mastery. That's your success, that you really arrived at yourself, right? Through that darker chapter. That is definitively here, right? But it's here as what just has ended, basically. 10 of Swords, that's just done. That's finito. Now, don't look back in anger. If resentment, pain, frustration, rage, all these emotions, you can't just switch them off, right? But you can cultivate them, and if you recognize them, that you're in this little lower area of your consciousness, basically fear, guilt, shame, rage, anger, even hatred sometimes, these are human emotions. You can't just amputate them and throw them away. They're just here. What I'm trying to tell you is not toxic positivity, not that you negate your own feelings. If you have these feelings of resentment and pain, 5 of Cups energy, 5 of Pentacles energy, worrying, then recognize it and then work with it, sit with it, right? You literally sit with it, like I sit in front of you right now. And then you do breath work for 10 minutes, for 5 minutes, whatever you can do. 5 seconds in, 10 seconds out, or maybe 3 seconds in, 6 seconds out, whatever feels comfortable and doable for you. The out breath should be 2 times the in breath. Very important. You want to release negative energy, right? Not get energy. No, you want to release energy, grounding yourself, sacred earth, right? And you do that breath work 2 times longer the out breath than the in breath. 5 seconds in, 10 seconds out, something like that. And then you get rid of that, right? You're working with it. You're not negating it. You're sitting with it. You're transcending and integrating it by working with it. And then you're free. Then you can do sports and you can do fitness, ride your bike, go swimming, whatever you do. Get into the physical body, get active, right? If you can combine that with meditation, you're really, really good, right? And do that every day. Make that a practice, like you go to the gym. Be disciplined about it. You sit, you breathe, you meditate, and then you connect with nature in whatever form. Go out into, even if it's just a park, right? But some earth energy, right? Connecting with that. And then you snap out of this negative energy. You can give it an exhaust, right? You can use it, you can transform it, you can work with it. Through breath work, you literally breathe it out, and then through your physical activity, you're sweating it out, basically. And in connection, you're coming into connection with different energies, you're activating different energy fields or chakras or whatever you want to conceptualize it, however you want to conceptualize it, in your body, in your psyche, in your consciousness, and you find that momentum into your own creation. Something very practical, low-hanging fruit, get the job done, get something out of it. 9 of Pentacles energy, and then focus all of your attention on what you want to create, right? Abundance is here, support is here, beautiful. And whenever you fall into the hole of resentment, pain, whatever, breathwork, meditation, and then getting physical, connecting with nature outside, through sport, through whatever, just walking maybe helps as well. And that's all I got. And I wish you a fantastic spring. That's the returning of the light. That's the returning of life, right? And it's all here. Let's not forget, you know, even if you sometimes feel like the wounded warrior, which is the clarifier of the Empress, right? The Empress is self-mastership. You have arrived in your lush garden. Trust it. Create from that consciousness of hope, of positivity. Do not make it, do not turn it into toxic positivity. Whenever you feel the shadow, whenever you feel the cold, sit with it, breathe with it, breathe it out, and then get out into nature to get some new energies. That's how you do it. And then you have all your wonderful creation process here going in spring, in total alignment with the universe, with the spirits, Chariot. That's fantastic. That's all I got. I hope it resonates with me, with you. With me, it actually resonates with me a lot. But this is the Libra reading, right? Not the Virgo reading. So I'm happy for you. Share, like, subscribe, leave a comment, let me know what you think about it. And hopefully see you next time. If you want, you can check out the 2026 reading, the yearly reading. That's pretty well. It's pretty good as well. So now goodbye. Ciao.